Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, normally Fridays the day we turn to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey guys, vote us in a map, but I completely forgot to schedule the poll. It was just sat there waiting to be done and I forgot. So instead of taking an older map from a poll that just missed out on getting voted in, I decided to take one from the request list because that's growing a little bit larger than I like at the moment. Now today's map is...
It's my first map.
That's right, and it has some pretty strong standards. It lacks a little though in what I'm going to use the word I'm going to use is inspiration. Not so much inspiration from the creator, but for us to work with. But we'll get to that in a moment. First of all, this. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Queensport. I think that is Queen's Port rather than Queen Sport by clubs. I could be wrong. Let's have a look at the start square, which is, well, there's loads of room to build in there. Big grid city coming on this map. I don't think there's any other way of building on this map. We have terrain heights that are very flat across the board. Again, very easy to build on, which I guess is nice for a lot of you. And then resources are strong and focused. So once you get to an area, you just do resources in that area. Industries, I mean. Then you have fishing, which it looks like this if you have Sunset Harbour. Yep, lovely. Lots of anchovies going on there. And then off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, it's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. We'll be using the realistic 1.5.5 temperate theme and the realistic 1.2 LUT. Got a written description, including the news on a couple of updates that have been done since the release of the map, which makes me wonder what the map was like when it was first released, because I still feel that this map needs a little bit added to it here and there. When I say here and there, I mean most places, actually. That doesn't mean that you can't have a really good build on this map, because frankly there is a lot of space to build into, but being a map maker, I think, is two parts. One part is producing something that you like doing, that you would like to build on. The second part is building something that will inspire the person that's installing your map. Subscribing your map is a better word. Installing, my brain has gone. Subscribe. I had the jab yesterday, and I'm a little bit not with it today. So if my commentary's not quite on point, then that's basically normal. But I'm just a little bit off colour. But let's talk about the map and not about me. I'm fine. It's just the jab. Everybody's having it, so fine. So anyway, we got some nice plopped intersections in here that have been, on the whole, well selected. They're all being linked in on the description as well. Let's take a look at this first one, just to show you that we've got a nice mix of them. And yeah, it's one of these double. What is it? Is it a dumbbell one? I think it's a dumbbell one. Again, not totally with it. I'm doing my best. I'll do my best today. I will struggle through. I will fight on. What map will survive another day? So yes, so what we have is a very flat map, which is going to be great for city builders. So those people that want a flat map, you've got it. There's also some very large spaces to build into, which again, if you like building an unobstructed city, then you've got that as well. But once we get beyond these forests, and we're just running alongside the farmlands at the moment, which we'll take a look at later on. It's my favourite part of the map, to be honest with you. Another one of those style of intersections right there, slightly different from the first one, slightly more compact. Now, once we get through the forests and into the open land, you'll notice that it's just very open. And for me, that lacks a little in terms of inspiration. I feel that part of the fun of building, if you're going to build on a perfectly flat, treeless land, you may as well just use a completely flat square with a simple river running right the way through it. There are many maps like that on the workshop, which just have a straight line river running through the middle of it, which is even better for a grid city because you have a straight line river. so you don't even have to worry about that. And then you just have the you just build a grid. And what you have on the left-hand side of the highway here is really very large open spaces with, well, until you get to the coast, nothing to dictate words are really not coming today. And this is your main intersection, your start square intersection as well. Lots to like about that one. And this takes you down this route here to this is your start square down here. There you go. That's what's going to inspire your city from the off. A little bit of coastline, which again, it's a very simple, very smooth coastline. So the smoothness is nice. We don't have any huge drops off into the ocean, and it's very smooth and very clean. And this highway that goes off to the left here, we'll talk about that in a few moments. We're just going to ignore it for now. just this moment. We'll come back to that. I'm sure there's a lot of you already noticed what issue I'm gonna make of it. It's not really a huge issue, but what issue I'm gonna make. Now we've got a swish about there, right now, boom, boom, both ways. It's very swirly about. My blimey. I must be really struggling today. I don't feel struggling. I don't feel like I'm struggling. I just things are just not quite ticking. It's like if I got out of bed at 2 in the morning and immediately started narrating. That's kind of how I feel at the moment. It's not quite switched on. But hey, I guess some of you can say that's me most days. Those of you that have watched my Where on Earth Am I series with GeoGuessr will know that sometimes brain is just not switched on. Okay, heading down onto the rail, there are 2 separate rails that I can find. This one here is a pretty short one going down to everybody's favourite factories with multiple sidings there. Also, please note, not a single tree on this map that has entered the highways, has entered the rail, or any of the standard issues that you'd expect from a My First Mapper. Credibility going on for that one. We've got a bit of an up and over rail here, which we'll take a look at in the second half of the show. I'll do a very quick fix on that one. It will be a quick fix. It won't be a fine-tuned fix, and there are things about the fix I'm going to do, which probably, if it was me, I would do even better still. And then the rail just runs across the map in towards the hills. I'm not checking for gradients because it doesn't really, for me, it doesn't really matter on this map. But it looks like there might be a bit of a gradient going on around here. Or maybe it's just resource painting that makes it look like we're going up a hill. I don't really mind that much. Anyway, heading off towards the edge of the map, which means it's going to be time for an intermission. So come back for the shipping, because there is shipping, you'll be pleased to know. Oh, we're not there yet. There is shipping, you'll be pleased to know.
Do you have trouble knowing how to start a new city? Do you need to return to the absolute basics just this once? Don't worry, I won't tell. Then you need BonBonB's Beginner's Guide to Your First City. Click the information button now.
And back to Queensport by clubs and shipping routes. Well, we have a shipping route that will loop into the port area, as it does here, and it gets close enough to make things look interesting. You won't have anything take this route unless you actually have a harbour down, and I think that is a bit of a bonus as well. And then it loops back out to the edge of the map over here and joins up with the original route, and then that just runs all the way along here in case you want to do a port over this side. So I think that's pretty good. We've got to give credit for that one. I think that works. So good score there. Water flow, we have good strong water flow, you see, with lots of water pushing out from the start square area, which means there's almost certainly, almost definitely, almost probably certainly a spawn point down here. How strong a spawn point do you think we've got down here? How strong? Shall we have a look? Let's come down here and go into water mode. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So down here, somewhere in this area is probably a spawn point. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay then. Chinese lanterns, anybody? Now I kind of get it, right? If you put one big spawn point, you can affect the bubbling of the water, and you just get a lump of water in the middle of your ocean. But I think this is somewhat going the other way a little bit too much. Not that it really matters, and it does provide what is required, which is good water flow, so I guess there's credit to be given for that. So the map as a whole, there's some good tree blending around the outside of the map. It's just once you get to the inside, I like the way also the trees come over the highway a little bit, just to blend things in a bit more. This highway dead end here is a little bit odd, because while you can get to these three connections, like all the way over here, you get traffic coming in from this way and from the start square and such, you get nothing going the other way. So you're probably going to want to put an extra connection in over there. Then if we come down to the main intersection, there's a lot going on, a lot of good work, no pillars in the road, which is a blessing. We have got some things, like here we have elevated at ground level and ground level highways next to each other, and another one just on the right there as well. An elevated at ground level seems to be a thing with this intersection. It's okay if it doesn't actually affect the terrain, but like down here, we have elevated at ground level that's actually pushing the terrain down and in. If you're going to have that happen, you may as well actually convert it down into a ground level road. Right, what other things have we got? Do you know what? There's a lot of things to talk about with this one. Like, if we head over this way, we have some very nice farmland. There's farmland like this, which I feel could be used in that actual start square area, because this helps to inspire a grid city. Now, those of you that have watched my Breaking the Grid series will have seen how I would use this in a small village and small town kind of environment. But on a giant grid city, this whole area over here, if we had fields and farms, I think that would just help, because you can always ignore the fields. But this, for me, you may as well just have a completely empty map and just grid up to the max. What you do go down to the coast, I guess, and the coast does define the shape a little bit. And it's a nice coast. We've got a nice transition, nice and smooth going out. We don't have to have ultra detailing everywhere, but I do want to see something to inspire me. Like up here is a little bit more of inspiration. Up here we got the cliffs going on there, and I probably want to build some sort of big neighborhood there as well. Thing is, everywhere that we have buildable is oh, look at the essential lighthouse. Ah, isn't she lovely? Yes, all the buildable areas are huge, and it's quite possible to fill this entire cleared area, this area here, completely cleared, with well, the limit with nodes, with segments, and with buildings. You could just run out in that area alone. Then yeah, over here with the farms. The farms is, for me, I think, a massive way of actually. Let me show you. Let me show you. Right. So let's grab a road, any old road, like here. We have. We just follow the tree, the hedge lines like that, and then you can grid off this way, buying just the individual tiles, and to go, right, that's going to be one little grid area going on in there. Then we could do another grid area over here, so we can maybe draw one in, just using the field line. So that'll stop your grid city being just one literal grid, and you can work with the predefined lines. You could avoid building into the forest areas, maybe just do connect a road through the forest areas. It can help shape the city and make it a lot more interesting to do, while still being able to completely ignore it and demolish any areas that you don't particularly want to stick with. Then over here, it's just, yeah. You know what I mean? Do you know where I'm going from? Oh, I did say we'd talk about this up and over. Right, let's do a very quick fix. I'm going to use Move It, the best mod. It is the best. It's the Detailers mod, yeah? So I'm going to choose those three nodes. I'm going to choose any nodes leading up to this area. Again, this is not going to be the world's best fix, but I'm just going to drop the rail line down to ground level now. We're just going to drop the roads as well. I'm not going to convert the rail to ground-based. That's one thing I've probably done. And also, a little bit of foliage detailing along here would make the whole thing pop. We'll choose those four, and we'll elevate those up slightly. In fact, the next one's in. I'm going to choose those four, and we're going to elevate those up just slightly. There we go. And I feel that looks a lot more believable. Always have the rail stay flat and get the road to do the work, rather than the other way around. Well, I say always. There are exceptions to every rule, but always, okay? Right, okay, back down to the start square. The start square has got an asset of the day, and it's a creator we've done a few times recently. It's Gilded Age, and we have Bar Sportivo. Yes, it's sports bar. It has all the satellite aerials on the top, meaning that when the sports are on, all the Italiano community can go and watch Internazionale thrash Juventus, because that never happens these days. And factoids, because factoids. Okay, this is wrong as well. Absolutely wrong. There is only one bird which can fly backwards. The hummingbird. Well, I put it to you. That if you kick a seagull hard enough, it will fly backwards. Also, there are many lady helicopter pilots, and those birds really can fly backwards as well. So there we go. Proof is in the pudding. Not seagull pudding. Don't eat seagull pudding. No, they don't taste good. They do not taste good. You are what you eat, and seagulls do eat a lot of, not just fish, anything. Ugh. Anyway, Bar Sportivo by Gilded Age. It's a lovely little thing. Lovely. Little Italy is going to be fully filled out very soon. Thanks for all of your hard work for that. And back to Queensport by Clubs. And we have a big city here where you'll certainly have room for a Little Italy and Little China and everywhere else for that matter. But what do you think of it? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the viewer's choice top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Click the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen and take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple or even a Patreon account. But what do I think of today's map? Well, it's okay. I mean, I've been moaning a lot about there's a big swathe of buildable space which has just got no inspiration added into it. It doesn't make it an unattractive map, but it just doesn't make it pop. I don't think we can drop this to 2 stars for having such a large open space of nothing, but I can't really make it a strong map. So I'm going to go 3 stars, but I've got to go at the bottom end. There are some very nice areas. I haven't even looked at the hills. Right. The detailing, what we've got is good. It's a little bit uninspired in the areas that really matter. So I'm going to go 3 stars. I'm going to go just a smidge under 3 stars because there's really not that much wrong with it. Gameplay potential. If you want to do a huge build, go for it. The inspiration lacks, but there's nothing to stop you. It works. The map works. It's 3 stars. It's 3 stars down the middle, but it just lacks inspiration. Queensport by Clubs. For a first map, that is, in places, an excellent map. It's so difficult, though, to get the balance right on maps. I feel that the map that I'm currently building at the moment probably doesn't have enough build space, and you guys are going to tell me that. I'm guilty. And then with a map like that, we've gone completely the opposite, and we have a little bit too much build space. But anyway, thanks very much for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. If you are still here, you are part of the 20 and out elite. Use the word of the day into the comments to score some population points just for fun, and I'll be back tomorrow with Saturday's What's Map.